Happy Friday, happy Independence Day, and happy 4th of July. Welcome to the Fanatic Forum. Hope you all are having a good one out there so far. I am George, your extreme fanatic, because we are talking 90s action movies, and man, there is a lot to cover here. We're going to talk some of our personal favorites, and I mean, there's just a lot to cover, period, because it was a big decade. Lots of diversity in our films and kind of the genre itself. And of course, I cannot do any 90s action film here without the tango to my cash here, Mr. Manhammer himself, the fireworks hater, and I'm right there with you. Damn them fireworks.
Yes. What's up, sir? Oh, the tango to your cash. I love it. Whichever one. Yeah, whichever one. Yeah, I love the Tango and Cash reference. Yeah,
you get to be Kurt Russell.
I can dig that.
Yeah, I'm fine with Sly, but yeah, you get to be Kurt Russell for this one.
I'm partial to Kurt Russell. That is a series. I am sad that Tango and Cash did not become like a 5-movie franchise.
I know, dude.
Like Lethal Weapon was cool as the buddy cop, but like, man, Tango and like. Russell and Stallone at their peak, man. At their peak.
I know.
I don't care that people say it was a bad movie. I loved it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I was thinking about something to watch tonight because just getting in the mood for things. Even though one fits the decade and one doesn't fit the decade, I watched Pulp Fiction last night because I hadn't seen it in a long time. Yeah. And then right after that, I followed up with Rock and Roll High School. So not a 90s film.
No, not a 90s film at all. Now, let me ask you this, though, because I revisited Pulp Fiction about a year or so ago myself. And one thing that kind of took me back in it was just I didn't realize the number of people that smoked constantly in that scene. It was just cigarettes everywhere, all the time. Yeah.
I tell you, I was actually pointing this out to Michelle. That one of my favorite parts, the first scene where you see Jules and Vincent, in the apartment, they're doing the whole speech thing, and Vincent's just hanging out in the back. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And then basically when Jules starts going into you ever read the Bible, Brett? And as soon as he hits that line, Vincent knows, all right, it's party time. He puts the cigarette out. He gets a position. He opens his jacket. He's getting his gun out. So he is ready to go. But it's like a routine.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about, because you watch him. There's almost like he almost gets bored, because it's like, all right, here's Jules, like he's constant, like he's got his shpick, and like that's why he's back in the back just looking at stuff, and it's just it's brilliant the way that it's done. Like, just that's visual storytelling, man, because that tells a story, that tells you more about the characters just in that. Actions speak louder than words kind of deal. Like, you've seen that it's just become rote everyday stuff to them.
Like, how many times has Vincent heard that speech? That basically that Ezekiel 25:17. How many times has he heard that thing? He could probably recite it if he wanted to.
Right. And everybody talks about the movie like being like shot, out of chronological sequence. But it's actually shown still in narrative sequence because of that stuff. Like, if you really look at it, because the movie really is about Jules' growth versus Vincent's growth, or Vincent's non-growth. Because Jules is the one that's trying to become somebody. So it's like, of course, at the end of the movie, they both walk off, but that ain't the end. We could do a whole episode on Pulp Fiction. It's brilliant.
We really could. Yeah, like I've said that before on the show. It's like I literally in theaters, I watched that 16 times.
Yeah,
before I hit home video. So I was like, that was a very important film to me. But we were talking about Kurt Russell. One of his famous co-stars, especially in The Thing, Keith David, if you didn't hear this in the news, was honored with his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, he was.
Or he's going to be, I should say. He's going to be, yes. Because they were announcing the new class of, and so even Franco Nero is getting one too. It's like, hey, the proud man. So Keith there's a video of him that's going around online where he's sitting there watching this thing. He's just, just sitting there watching the videos, just whatever else. And then all of a sudden, here's his name, and like the look of shock, like, what did I just hear? And his wife, who's taping the video, starts squealing and cheering and whatever else. It was a birthday gift to him from her to get that set up.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, Keith David
That,
is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, yeah, that's
that is
cool.
awesome.
I like that. But on another unfortunate side, basically on this the second, we lost. Actually, let's see. Yeah, it was on the second. We lost 2 actors.
I know Michael
Because,
Madsen. Yeah.
and we also lost Julian McMahon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just announced today, but he died on the second. Apparently, he'd been battling cancer and kept it quiet.
Oh,
So
wow. No, I
yeah,
hadn't heard that yet.
he was
Jeez.
only 56, man.
Jeez.
So it was like, and, Matt Manson, had I think it was a heart attack or something like that, or heart failure or something
Yeah.
along those lines. So
Well, F cancer, anyway it goes, and like, yeah,
yes,
sucks about Michael
indeed,
Madsen.
yeah, but Michael Manson's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man,
where's
he, yeah, so many good
he
movies of his too. Yeah,
and he was kind of a hard liver anyway. So yeah.
I did kind of appreciate though, like, anytime you'd see him, do interviews or whatever, people would always talk about like, his film career, and he's like, look, Free Willy was one of the biggest movies that I was ever in, but nobody ever asked me about that one. They always want to know about the Tarantino stuff, the Kill Bills, the Pulp Fictions,
Mhm.
and it's like,
Res-
yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, they want Mr. Blonde. They don't want the dad from Free Willy.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of like, it's funny because like it's probably like one of like the nicest, warmest roles he's ever played. Even though he's still Michael Madsen, he's like, yeah.
Right, you're still just waiting for like, yeah, you're waiting for that part in Free Willy for him to like maybe drink too much and then just belt the kid, like,
or he's gonna like kill the whale or something. It's like
right. It's like this is what I always go back to. It's like so how like I'm rewatching Stranger Things because the new season's getting ready to come out in November. So like the second season when they bring Paul Reiser in. And like you just immediately sing, it's like, oh, Paul Reiser, I've seen Aliens. I know that this is like, yeah. And, yeah.
And then he does the face turn. You're like, oh, he was man, come on! I'm waiting for Burke to show up here, and
right,
yeah,
exactly.
I get the mad about you, Paul Reiser. Okay,
right, yeah,
well, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that he's aware of that too, because it's like he's played into that trope several times, just where he's been Burke, where people have wanted Burke and gotten something else.
Oh, well, something here basically that we personally are excited about tomorrow. So the boys are getting
I wanted
together.
to talk about this. Yeah.
Yes. So the boys are getting together here to play a little game that Seth found for us because basically 3 of the 4 of us. It was 5 of us because Brandon's
5
too.
of us
So,
now, yeah.
but yeah, so 4 of the 5 of us are experienced role players, even though I haven't played in a long time, and then Eric has never played. But this is a game called Black Sword Hack that you found for us. Of course, made these lovely manuals and everything for us too. This is cool as hell. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. It's so that comes from the Merry Mushman, and so like there is of course we talked about Shadowrun on here before, right? Like the ultimate dream is we want to ultimately run a Shadowrun game. But this is more like to get like us back into like kind of the idea of role playing, because it's like you haven't done it in a while. I haven't DM'd anything in a while. So it's like this is like a very rules light, like old school, like what it's called. It's like there's this whole revival in tabletops now, like old school revival, where it's like things are supposed to feel more like old school D&D kind of deal. But it's like but like my thing is like I hate the crunchy, right? Like I don't want to sit there and worry about like if you're fighting a skeleton, right? Like the shit that bores the crap out of me is like, okay, so how far away are you? Like, what's the weather like? How's the cross breeze coming? Okay, roll this dice. Like that's too much for me. It's like I want to roll some dice and I want to make up some stories with my buddies.
Yeah.
Then it's like, and this system I think is really going to be kind of like that. There's enough in there to like to keep us interested with the random choices with the dice rolls, because I mean we're still going to have to do things like roll for initiative, and like you're going to have to do like there's going to be stat checks from time to time, stuff like that. But like we're not going to have to worry about like like terrain map unless it's like significantly different or whatever. Like
well, yes, if it has to do with something with the story, there's a certain struggle or whatever else.
Right.
Yeah, but got me a new dice set. I went over to Pangea Gaming here over in Radcliffe and got me a new dice set. But yeah, this thing is cool here that I got. I got a new journal. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's like a fake pleather with like the gold stitching on there, and of course it's got like little built-in bookmarks for it. But yeah, so I mean, it's got like I could there's like character sheets and stuff like that, or
Oh,
spell
that is cool.
sheets.
Yeah.
And then of course it's got lots of other just blank pages with lines on it. Yeah, some others like magical item things there too. So
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Like, I was so stoked when you said you got a notebook, because it's like I've been putting the campaign, like my campaign notes into a notebook too.
yeah.
And like I think that it's something like if you get into tabletop, you want to start doing stuff like keeping your own notes, because
Mhm.
that's like your souvenir that you went through the campaign, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
of
Yeah.
like what you experienced with it. Yeah. And it's like, and everybody's is going to be different, and that's what makes it so much fun, I think. Or
I know.
one of the things that make it so much fun.
Oh,
And
no, that's
yeah, we've been talking about, we've been super excited to do this. Yeah. And you were talking about that. I actually got like, I know like I could have made it easily, and some people are like, you ought to make your own stuff, but it's like they had this DM screen, right? It's
Mhm.
like the 4 panels, but they've got like the clear sheets on the front, so you can just change them out and put your own artwork and stuff in
Oh,
them.
nice. That's
Yeah, so it's
cool.
like I've got it set up for tomorrow night and everything, with like my stat tables and everything. So yeah, it's like it's going to be like my first proper GM screen too. So
Oh,
I'm
I
excited.
love it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. It's going to be killer. And yeah.
Oh. Well, before, of course, we got our main topic this evening. We're talking favorite action films of the 90s. And of course, that's a rather broad topic because the 90s kind of, the 80s kind of started this, but the 90s really broadened the genre of
Yeah.
action film. So you got like horror action films, comedy action films, superhero action films, your traditional stuff, and all kinds of
Direct to
things.
video helped with a lot of that too, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stuff went to video stores that never would have normally made it anywhere.
And then Bill, of course, Bill Doris coming in the house here, chiming in. This is not a shock here. Best action movie in the 90s is The Crow.
The
Anyone that
Crow.
says different is dead wrong or doesn't know what they're talking about. So there you go.
It's up there. I got to admit, The Crow is one of my all-time favorite movies, and a hell of an action movie.
Yeah.
Also, probably one of the most romantic movies I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. And see, and again, this is like, it's a superhero movie, it's a tragedy, whatever else. So yeah, Crow's definitely one of the best, that's for sure. And Matrix being a close second. Yeah, and Matrix
Oh,
Matrix kind of changed the game, man. They're right at the
yeah.
end of the 90s, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah, because 1999, I believe it was The Matrix. Because
Mm-hmm.
how perfect is that? 1999 was the year The Matrix came out. It
I know,
sounds so
right?
fucking futuristic. Oh, damn it. It sounds so futuristic, but like, it still sounds like cliche now,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
yeah.
know, right?
Man, The
Oh,
Matrix is such a good movie.
you may have to explain this one, Seth. But an RPG gaming session, and I wasn't invited. Tell me you hate me without saying I hate you.
Well, number one, I know that I've mentioned it to Bill prior to now. So he
Yeah.
has been aware of this. This was just one of
Mm-hmm.
those things that he kind of glossed over, and we might have started talking about something else. But
Mm-hmm.
no. Yeah, Bill, you are always invited to a session at my table. If you can make it up here tomorrow night, please do so. We will do it with 6. That is fun.
I watch Smokes and Road Beers. Bill doesn't pay attention to what you're talking about some of the times. I see that blank stare go over his face when you're talking about something he doesn't really know much about, and he's just like, waiting for Seth to stop talking, and now, okay. So, yeah.
Well, also too, Bill is the source of one of my favorite RPG tabletop gaming stories ever. We were playing. It was the Star Wars Edge of the Empire game, which was
I remember that one.
Yeah. It was a tabletop in the mid 2000s, and we had set it up and everything. And like this was like I had set up this campaign, and it's like part of it was also on me because I had done that thing where it's like I had like came up with predetermined solutions for things. And of course, like anybody that's ever played D&D knows that it's like if you plan for something, your party will never go anywhere near it. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's if you're expecting them to do this one thing, like that everything is pointing them to, that is the thing that they will not do. And so it's like I had to basically just kind of start DMing from the fly. Well, eventually the party's crash landed on Tatooine. and I've allowed them to hijack 3 speeder bikes. Well, Bill is absolutely certain that I am angry about the situation of my campaign being railroaded. So he is just terrified that that I'm going to kill his characters. Even though no, I didn't want to have this was a crunchy game too. So no,
Okay.
I did not want to go through a bunch of dice rolls, just to make sure they traveled far enough to actually get to where some shit was going to happen.
Yeah.
So no, Bill had to check his speeder for traps. He did all kinds of stuff. Spent like 20 minutes going over his speeder with a fine-tooth comb, only to lay in the desert sands and shoot at it until it exploded. Right? Like the damage wasn't enough. He had to shoot at it till it exploded. And then like I kept telling him there was nothing wrong with it. Like I broke character as DM and everything. I'm like, no, I'm planning to do nothing. Right? Bill will not believe this. So then the other 2 members of the party had to take turns like transporting him back and forth to these places. So we ended up spending more time to go back and forth. It was hilarious afterwards, but at the time, and everyone at the table is just trying to explain to him. But Bill is nope, not. He knows me. He knows what I'm going to do. Did not trust me.
Bill says he likes to be thorough.
You were very thorough.
Oh, we're going over this. A producer does have to keep up with his time cues. So yeah, producer.
Hey, no, George. No, George. Bill is a fine producer, actually.
No, he is.
Because a lot, like all the hands-on, like the technical stuff. Like I know jack all about all of that. Bill actually puts like 98% of the show together. I just show up.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I got to give Bill his producer props. Thank you, Bill.
No, yeah. I know. It's just funny. I always basically, I always jabbed all the producers I work with in the news department because they're like, "Oh, we're producers." Like, look, I'm used to the film term for producers, and those are people who generate money and do a lot of the work to make the film happen. You guys just lump which stories together. You write about half of them. The anchors write the other half of them. Don't flatter yourself.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So always rip them.
Don't eat.
Until they actually showed their merit. They're like, okay, then I'll give you some props. But there's a lot of people who came in like, I'm a producer. I'm like, I'm the king of Switzerland. Yeehaw!
What are you doing, big boy?
Anywho, well, I got a couple of comic book reviews to go through here before we get into our topic here. And strangely enough, no DC stuff this week.
No DC. Okay, man, I'm kind of disappointed now because we can't play our Guess How Many Batman. Did you just quit getting as many Batman books? Is that what it is? Just before the game?
Basically, this was a really light week for DC, and it only had like 2 issues that I got, and neither one of them were Batman books. So let's see. I'm waiting on a couple different Batman things to come out. So so there may be another Batman book coming in the very near future. We will see.
Okay.
I know you're disappointed about it. But I got 3 Marvel selections and a couple of indies here. But our first, I may have talked about this one, but there's a mini-series bringing back the old Bring on the Bad Guys motif here.
Yeah, you did talk about that.
All right, so the Doom issue was a blast. Basically, what it is that Mephisto is trying to reform this basically MacGuffin device called the Soul Forge. The Soul Forge, basically, once it is complete, he can control or take anybody's soul he wants to at any time. It's it's just that's sort of powerful of a thing. But unfortunately, it requires all these sacrifices. So he needs basically 7 people, and then himself being the 8th, to essentially perform these sacrifices to form the Soul Forge. So that's where all the bad guys come in. Some of them are working for Mephisto. Some are kind of working not necessarily against him, but basically like, Doom in his case is kind of like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. So I want this thing for myself in typical Doom fashion. So yeah, but anyway, so this Goblin issue here really kind of predates when Norman Osborn turned into the Goblin, and maybe his deal with Mephisto was like, if you do this for me, you will get riches and you will be famous and your company will flourish and yada, yada, yada. Ooh. Maybe this is what caused the turn, because he has to murder somebody, and then after he murders somebody, then the Goblin kind of takes over, and there you go. So
I kind of dig that. That kind of, because Norman Osborn always felt like a little Lex Luthor adjacent to me.
Yeah,
But
totally.
this would almost give him like a little bit more of a, I dig a supernatural slant to his origin.
So
I like that. I like that.
very cool. And of course, the other issues coming up. I think the Abomination's the next one. Loki gets one. The Red Skull and Dormammu, and then of course Mephisto is the last issue. So then of course you have this one character who's kind of a servant of Mephisto, though perhaps maybe she kind of has her own agenda or something else going on. Her name is Sister Sorrow. She's a new character, but plays into things here. So yeah, we'll see exactly where she plays in here. But yeah, so like I said, 2 issues in, I'm like, I'm in. And of course, I'm a sucker for a Lee Bermejo cover, and so there you go. Yeah, and all the it's cool. All the A covers are the Bermejo A covers, and it's I like it's because it's like from the point of view of the superhero, but you're seeing the villain. So
right.
You can see like there's Spider-Man's hands right there. He's fighting Goblin, and the Doom one was like the Thing. When you see his hands. So yeah. So hey, we got Miss Skylar in here. Skylar Productions in here. Good evening, our emotional support Canadian. Good to see you, my dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course you got to follow one of my fellow podcasters within the Phoenix Sisters Network here. You got to check out her show, Geeky Discoveries. Follow that here on the Facebook and the YouTubes.
So this is kind of an inside baseball question there too. So you remember how I never understood how Bill was one of the women of gaming on that other podcast that he did for a minute? Yeah. So we're Phoenix Sisters?
No. The founders of the network are the Phoenix Sisters, and we're just part of the network.
Oh, okay. So it's possessive as opposed to encompassing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because Kelly and Crayley, who do Cosplay Cafe, they are the Phoenix Sisters. So because they do cosplay stuff like that at conventions, things like that. And so when professionally, they are the Phoenix Sisters. So when they
that makes sense. I've been meaning to ask about that, but always like got sidetracked before we did because I really didn't understand it. I was like, so we're Phoenix Sisters, and then it's like, no, it makes more sense now that it's in a possessive, like we're on. Okay.
No, I'm not going to set you on fire and hope you resurrect. Okay, don't get your hopes up. All right.
Man, what was that weird movie on Netflix that had? It was Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, and who else was in it? I can't remember, but it was like this. It was like this. It was almost like a Southern Gothic movie. But and Tom Holland, like he played this guy. Robert Pattinson got Tom Holland's adoptive sister knocked up, and she ended up dying. So he beat him to death. But the part of the movie I'm talking about is at one point they're in it like this old, like it's in like the 30s, right? So it's in like a Southern revival tent, right? In the middle of a service. So it's like you got one guy and he's singing, and his brother's in a wheelchair playing the banjo, and like they're doing that whole thing, and they're this brother like gospel duo that goes to the revivals. Well, the one brother that was singing marries this other girl and gets into his head that he's got like powers now, right? So like he takes his wife out to like, they're gonna go on a picnic, and he tells her everything's gonna be okay and stabs her in the neck. And then she just looks at, like, it's like one of the most excruciating death scenes because it's like she just looks so hurt and pained like during this, and she falls over, and then he's like, all right, you can come back to life now. All right, I'll resurrect you. Okay. And of course, it doesn't work, right? So the next scene, this is going somewhere, I promise. The next scene is like the brother or the two brothers in the car, and the one brother driving, the one that killed his wife, is like, okay, maybe maybe I'll tell him it's just an accident. And his brother looks over at him and goes, "You stabbed her in the neck, tried to bring her back to life, and buried her in the woods. No one's going to believe that's an accident."
Is it devil all the time?
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's a very weird movie. Like, there's a lot more that goes on into this movie, and it's like several different stories that kind of all like overlap on each other, almost like you remember that Stray Bullets comic?
Oh yeah,
where 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 each story was like it had different characters, but like other characters from other stories might show up, but they wouldn't interact. That
yeah.
was kind of like what this movie kind of felt like.
Nice.
So it
Okay.
was good though, but I couldn't tell you what the hell it was really about. Anyway, a Fanatic Forum digression.
There
Happy
you go.
Independence. Thank you,
It happened.
Skylar. Yes.
You, Skyler. Oh,
Yeah.
and of course, our buddy V in
V,
the house.
what
Yes,
up?
sir.
Thank you. Too sweet. V, thank you very much for the Conan mug. I love it. It is amazing.
Yeah. He totally popped when I gave him that mug that you got him. So
Yes, that was killer. Yeah, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
that was
V got me this awesome color changing birthday mug or Conan mug for my birthday.
yeah. Yeah, it's like when it gets cold or hot or something like that. Like there's like a crowd of people. I don't know if it's like an army or bodies or whatever else, but it's a crowd of people that appear.
Yeah, and flames. Yeah.
And flames. Yes.
Yeah.
Flames on the side of my face. No. Is it Happy 4th of July to you too?
Thank you. Thank you. Happy 4th.
Hey, Bradley's in the
What
house.
up, Bradley?
Again. All right. Whole gang's all here. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Our next Marvel selection here. Our final one of the mini series of our Godzilla verses, and they ended with a humdinger. Godzilla versus Thor.
You were telling me that this one trumped your previous favorite.
Yeah, previously in the series, our second selection, Godzilla versus the Hulk. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Everything you wanted to be. I had some theories because Jason Aaron and Aaron Cooter, basically the entire team that brought us the Unworthy Thor, the Jane Foster Thor, Bor the God Butcher, that whole run. I'm like, okay, are we going to do, Unworthy Thor and Jane Foster Thor versus Godzilla, or we could do like the Thor, Old Man Thor at the end of time with his 3 granddaughters versus Godzilla. No. All expectations I had, A, blown out of the water, and B, dead wrong because they went completely different direction, and I still love it. I got you a copy of this for Dan.
Nice.
Read it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, and V says you're very most welcome, Seth. You made my day, Glenn. Yeah. So yeah, your reaction made his day. So.
Oh well, thank you. It was I popped for Conan stuff. Yeah, it meant a lot. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a cheaper pop than Mick Foley saying what town he's in when he's doing a promo. And Brad saying, "Oh, you played Max Payne 2. Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I went back through those. I went through. Yeah, it was. Sorry if Moxley, if you can hear Moxley, the fireworks drive him nuts. He can't.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, the girls are all the kiddies are all MIA right now. So yeah. I'm wearing their shirt right now. This this cat father shirt. That was my Father's Day present. So
yeah, it's awesome. But no, I went through a Remedy deep dive and redid. I was nice. I played Alan Wake. Went back and played. I haven't finished Alan Wake 2 yet because I got sidetracked and wanted to play Max Payne 1 and 2 to see if I was going to miss or see if I could catch references. Because I know they said there aren't really any references, but it's like we know Remedy likes to lie. And that there's other stuff in there, and it's like I know the Alex Casey stuff, and it's like all that, but it's like it's the Max Payne games, even though they're not really they're still in the Remedy stuff, and so Max Payne is a fantastic game.
I know.
First time I ever heard Prophets of the Fall too. Those are the
nice,
band, that's the band that is also known as the Old Gods of Asgard. Like if you ever get a chance, the Prophets of the Fall, like they're an amazing band by themselves, a European like rock synth band. But then like for the Remedy games, they become the 70s hard rock band, the Old Gods of Asgard, which also came out with their own greatest hits album, which is effing incredible.
I know. I just saw that. It's like, oh no way.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I didn't tell. I'm so sorry. I did you a disservice not telling you about it. Yeah, I've been rocking out to like.
I found it on my own. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, it's like all the great tracks like that you would Take Control, listening to that, like the full version of that, like oh man.
Oh, and speaking of fake bands that have released fake albums, of course, San Diego Comic-Con's coming up here in about a week or so, I think, or a week or two. And G.I. Joe's busting out some like Cold Slither exclusives because there's going to be exclusive. There's going to be the ultimate size figures of the whole band with instruments, stuff like that. Super 7 has done 3 3/4-inch versions of Cold Slither, but I don't know what the name of the real band is, but there is a band out there calling themselves Cold Slither, where they did a remake of the old song, and then now they're doing new songs that would kind of sound like Cold Slither songs. Yeah. That's where we are in this world now. If your 2025 bingo card said Cold Slither's going to make a comeback and produce new music.
Yeah, I would not have picked that one.
Skylar says Elvira is releasing a Monster High doll for San Diego Comic-Con. Also, Miss Skylar, if you didn't know this, of course, everybody knows about the Deadpool Batman comic book crossover that's coming up here in the fall.
I need one of them, by the way. I need one of them.
Oh, yeah. Because the first one's the Marvel one first, and the DC one that Grant Morrison's writing is coming out later.
Yeah, but yeah, both, please.
No, I got you. But Miss Skylar, what you don't know is your girl Elvira is also part of another crossover that's coming up. Elvira and Harley Quinn.
Oh, damn. That.
Yeah, and of course, it's a Dynamite book, and you're teaming up with another famous lady, so you know that Dynamite's going to have 40,000 variant covers. And yeah. I know Mark Spears is doing one of those 40,000 covers amongst many other famous artists. But yes, Elvira and Harley Quinn are doing a comic book crossover.
This okay. So, boy, yeah. Yeah, because I'm immediately thinking it's like, oh man, it's like I wonder, like my first thought before you said that it was Dynamite was like, I'm wondering if it's going to be like kind of PG-13 Elvira or like How's Your Head Elvira, and like. Yeah, with Dynamite, it seems like it's going to be the latter, you know? Like,
well, that's the thing, because, of course, it's still going to be produced in conjunction with DC, so it's like it could go for a mature audience sort of thing, or it could go for, wacky, goofy Harley Quinn and kind of wacky, goofy Elvira. So it could work either way.
Right.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, you could do it either. But it's like I know that they're kind of even letting like Harley Quinn like be more of a raunchier character in some media too. Oh, yeah. And because there's that animated series, I know that it was like kind of risque. Yeah.
And it's really fun because it's very much non PG-13 Harley, but it's also very funny and raunchy too. So and makes great use of some obscure Batman villains and characters. So that's for sure. Oh, and also V saying salutations from Oregon. Thank you very much. We also have a friend in Oregon as well. So yeah. So another viewer basically that V hooked us up with here, or we hooked them up with. Either way, we have a viewer in Oregon, so good to see Oregon.
So Australia by way of Oregon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we come from a land down under to go to the far east, the far west.
For a split second, I was like, "Hold up, V's in Oregon now?" And like, yeah,
not yet.
I was like, "There's a lot of reasons to go to Oregon, though."
There's a V World Tour coming up pretty soon here, so he's going on tour. Basically with his Beastie Boys tribute band. So
nice.
Yeah. Except they don't do Brass Monkey. It's kind of it's a weird thing. He'll go into it, I'm sure, but yeah, I think it's for religious purposes. But yeah, they just don't do Brass Monkey. So I don't know. I'm making all this shit up anyway, by
the way. So God damn it! I got Steved.
Yeah. I'm making all this shit up.
Oh yeah, no, it's we've got one of our buddies that we hang out with, Steve. Bless his heart. He's one of the best guys that you know. But you could just like, if you just start telling him something and you say it sincerely enough, he'll be like, "Really? I did not know that." And he'll look at Eric and go, "Can you believe this shit?" And Eric will be like, "No," because look who's saying it. Yeah, and it's like either me or George. Yeah. Now, when we went to Charlotte, like we stayed in like it was like or a Best Western or a Holiday, a chain hotel, right? That had a convention room, right? And just like it had some like kind of odd architecture. And Steve's like, "This looks like it used to be a church." And I was like, "Oh, it did back in like 1784, like back whenever like they like made up all this crap about colonies and like the British and everything." And he's like, "For real?" And I'm like, "No, hell no, I don't know anything about this place. It's a hotel, Steve." But no, you just did that to me.
See, you say anything with enough conviction.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he's in a Beastie Boys tribute band. Okay,
And they
all
had
right.
something against Brass Monkey.
I mean, yeah, it's like that's weird. I mean, I knew a guy that was in a Billy Joel tribute band. Like, so Beastie Boys, yeah, sure. But their world tour.
Did they only do late 80s Billy Joel?
Yeah,
Keeping the faith.
Yeah, he did get upset with me though when I would always introduce him as the guy that was he was my favorite member of he was part of my favorite Billy Joel tribute band. And he was like, "Yo, you don't even like Billy Joel." And it was like, "Yeah, no, but it's like I like you. I just don't like the shit you play." Yeah,
A couple more comics to talk about here. And of course, this one's perfect for Independence Day, but a new volume of Captain America has just started with a great Ben Harvey cover there. Written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Valerio Schiti, which I love Valerio's art. This is a really cool take on Captain America because basically the time period is about 2 weeks after he got thawed out of the ice in the 1960s. So he's fresh out there. Tony's trying to recruit him for the Avengers, but he's like, I don't know. And, it's like, I don't have a world and that this is all kind of new and stuff like that. So he's like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go hang out in the army for a little bit. Well, Thunderbolt Ross is kind of like, really? Come on in.
You can just see he gets visibly aroused.
Oh, yeah. He got wood, definitely. So after some very short-lived tests, Cap's back to the army again. And he's like, hey, first mission here. We got this cat in Latveria called Dr. Doom. Why don't you go take him out for us? And so that's Cap's first mission.
Go get Dr. Doom. Nice.
Go get Dr. Doom, yeah. And of course, he goes to consult with Reed Richards, like, okay, so here's my mission. I understand you guys know each other very well. Tell me about it. So, I hear Mox now. Poor baby.
Yeah, it's starting. Yeah, the fireworks are starting more and more to pop off the closer to dusk it gets. So that might be the soundtrack for the rest of the evening too. Is
that's okay. Poor baby. Skylar says a game of Boulder Dash would be fun for you too. Yeah, I know, right? That's a fun game. Yeah.
No. I think she said she wants to play with us.
Well, yeah, either way. She's more than welcome to.
Yeah.
No, and Bradley says no one can handle the power
of Doom.
Let's see. A couple more questions here. Ever seen the first issue of Robo Wolf? Excuse me. I didn't see the Free Comic Book Day one, but we did get we did get Robo Wolf in when it came out. It was about 2 months ago, I think, something like that. So it's been a little bit.
It's almost like Dragonfire. It's like two words that are just mashed together. That it's like, okay, my curiosity's already peaked. Tell me, what the hell is Robo Wolf?
Well, it was a Dark Horse book. I think it was a one shot. It had a very kind of distinctive art style, kind of almost like a, very James Stokoe, very hard edge kind of cartoon sort of thing. We sold out of them, so I don't have any. I didn't get a chance to read it myself. It just kind of had a cool looking cover, and people were like, "Oh, I'm going to get this." Boom, boom, and it's gone. I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. So
okay.
I don't know. It kind of looked cool. You want to check it out? Didn't get to.
I got other methods to read it, so I will find it and see if I want to get the trade of Robo Wolf here, just because it has lit up the 14-year-old boy in my brain.
Yeah, it's only one issue, so far, yeah. So there you go. So, and also, Brad says, y'all ever read the Army of Darkness Red Sonja comics? Well, yeah, because there's the Army of Darkness versus Red Sonja out right now. I think it's like 1 or 2 issues out of that, and then There's been a couple different crossovers of Red Sonja and Mars Attacks. First, it was Mars Attacks Red Sonja, and the sequel is now Red Sonja Attacks Mars.
Yeah.
And that one's going as well.
Yeah. No, the Army of Darkness comics, I read some of them when they first came out, but then like, and this is gonna sound weird, and it's like everybody do your own thing, but so apparently Bruce Campbell's got some beef with the Dynamite comics because they don't pay likeness rights.
Yeah.
And they're using photo covers of him all the damn time. Like Ash is still based off of him and everything. So
yeah.
So like it's part of is like personally, like I've just stopped reading the Dynamite Army of Darkness comics just for that reason. But it's like don't let my choice hinder you. It's like, it's like if you it's like that. The movie fan in me just kind of overrode the property fan, or the Bruce Campbell fan overrode the property fan to me in that indication. But no, it's
honestly they're okay. You're not really missing a lot. So
I think the last one that I do remember reading was the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash adaptation.
That was cool.
That one was actually, that one was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that.
We were about that close to having a movie of that.
Yeah.
I was that close.
Yeah, I do have to give credit to Bruce Campbell too for not willing to let Ash lose on that one.
Yeah.
Because
that was basically that was essentially the what killed it. Is that Bruce didn't want to take the dive, and basically New Line didn't want, because I think New Line at the time had both Jason and Freddy, or maybe Paramount had some stake in it as well. But basically it was nobody wanted to back down, and never happened.
I know. It was Paramount had some stake in it because of the Friday the 13th stuff.
Yeah,
but then it was Freddy and Jason had to get basically the same amount of hits. They could still attack. They could still attack in different ways, but it was it's amazing that movie turned out as well as it did. To be honest, the OG Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
But then the whole idea that and if you made Freddy versus Jason versus Ash is the only good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that you'd want the good guy to win. So I don't. And
the New Line didn't want Freddy to lose a second time, even though he really didn't lose. That's the thing is people that was the thing I liked about Godzilla versus Kong, the more recent one, is they essentially had 3 fights in the movie. 2 of them were against each other, and the third one was against the big bad guy. And so they did basically, we're still waiting on a rubber match because they basically were 1-1. So it's we should have had something like that with Freddy and Jason.
You know what they missed a huge opportunity to do?
What's that?
They should have done with Freddy versus Jason. They should have done it Clue style, where you had 3 different endings. 3 different endings. You had Freddy win, Jason win, and then you had a draw. And so you could get people back in the theaters multiple times. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't do that, because it's almost the kind of gimmick that would scream being part of a horror movie. And if you don't know what I'm talking about doing it Clue style, when they did a movie based off the board game Clue, that when you went to the theater to see it, like at the 1 o'clock showing, it would have a different ending to the mystery if you went to the 3 o'clock showing. Yeah. And so there were how many, 5 different endings?
Well, because you had 2 fake endings, and then you had the actual ending.
Yeah. So it's it just, and that was also something that messed with people too. Because this was before the internet, so it's if you went out and so, we're going to talk to your friends that saw the movie the day, or the day before, they could have seen a totally different ending. Yep. And it would start many an argument. Of course, now if you go and watch the movie, all of the endings just play in sequential order. But
I love it. It's a classic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They didn't put all the endings till a hit home video and cable. Then you got it all. But so they really kind of messed around with the prints too, because sometimes you would get basically 2 prints of the movie, so you could have 2 different endings. Sometimes a city got 1 ending, and that's all they got. And so people in Chicago got ending number 1, and people in Philadelphia got a different ending.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know it got that wide. Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. There was because sometimes they kind of get in the weeds a little bit with maybe you can go to New York and LA and be able to see multiple endings, but the smaller the town got, the fewer prints you got in the film. So basically, you got 1 print of the movie, you got 1 ending. So it really messed with me. It was a really cool gimmick. So
yeah,
I love that one.
yeah. But they should have done that with Friday the 13th or Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason, I agree. Our last comic here, and of course we got to get into something spooky here. But one of my favorite independent series, even though it has moved labels, and I still need to look up if this is like a creator-owned label or whatnot. But Joseph Schmalke's 7 Years in Darkness has returned. This time the label is Midnight Factory. It was a Midnight Mission. That's Moon Knight. But yeah, Midnight Factory is the new label of this one here. This is issue 1 of year 3. So if you're not familiar with this series here, 7 Years in Darkness is very much, as I call it, the black metal Harry Potter. You have 72 students who are going into a school for magic and wizardry. The whole town and the families they come from are all basically breeding them to do this because they themselves went through it. Here's the gimmick, though. Only 7 students will graduate and or survive. Because, you're going to get a lot of dead kids because they're learning stuff and maybe somebody summons a demon and they get drugged to hell, or somebody, is learning
As
about,
it happens.
Or somebody's learning potions and poisons and they ingest the wrong mushroom and, 30 dead students in a potions class. These things happen. Anywho, there's been a presence that has kind of plagued the school for the last couple of seasons. He finally makes his way known here, and we are introducing to Mr. Whisper, as he's calling himself. So it's an entity that basically resembles something a little more primeval, a little more 7 deadly sins sort of thing like that. But he's really good at manipulating people and making them do stupid things, and of course giving him lots of power to do so. So
hang on. So he manipulates people to do stupid things and gives them power to do so. He's alcohol?
He is Jägermeister made for. Oh, love it. All right, so unless you had any reviews here, shall we get to our topic du jour here?
Because I got nothing. I've been a dirty slacker. I've been watching a lot of Stranger Things. If I've been watching stuff, I've been prepping our game too.
On game prep here, so you're excused from that sort of thing. That's perfectly fine. So, all right. Well, our topic this evening is, what are your favorite 90s action movies? And of course, this is a rather long-ranging topic here because oh, and you got a kitty on your
Dadgummit. Hang on. Well, you can still hear me, right?
I can hear you just fine. Yeah, but you have a kitty. I like this.
No, that's okay. We'll just do this.
Hey, there you are.
Here.
Hello.
There we go.
And we're back.
Yeah. No, my for some reason, this is what happens when you use an old cell phone as your web camera and trust an app that you got from the Google Play Store to make it work. Is you do podcasts like this sometimes, but okay, buddy. Yeah.
Definitely one topic or one comment here. Of course, we've got a couple of favorites already here. Dave Manningly, Diamond Dave in the house. Good to see you, sir. His favorites for the 90s action films: The Matrix. Definitely, Bill mentioned that one. Fifth Element, one of my wife's favorite films. Die Hard 2.
The fifth. Sorry. No, there's 2 things I always think about with The Fifth Element. Number one was that it was the first time that I remember visibly being uncomfortable watching a movie unexpected to see nudity because I was sitting next to a parent. And like that like weird bit where Mila Jovovich just like pulls her shirt off and does the whole thing. Wasn't expecting that. And then when Brian's dad pointed out that basically all The Fifth Element was the first section of the heavy metal movie. With what was his name? Harry Canyon.
Yep.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, that's dead ass like where it came from. Yeah.
Well, it is. Yeah, it was tremendously influenced by Jean Girard, or AKA Mobius's heavy metal stuff for Harry Canyon. So yes, 100%. Luc Besson, who made that, it was Besson. Basically he used a lot of Jean Girard, the Incal, a lot of those foreign sci-fi comics. So yeah, that was a heavy influence for him.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Terminator 2, yeah, that's definitely a huge, awesome film for the 90s here.
Actually, yeah, Terminator 2, like, but I was calling an audible before the show. Terminator 2 is one of my picks, actually. We're going to talk about that a little more, I think.
Army of Darkness, yep, definitely.
Yeah,
Total Recall. Classic. Is Total Recall 90s? I thought that was...
Yes, yeah.
Okay, no, yes, it is, yeah, okay. Yep, it's 90, 91 or something like that. You're right, it is, okay, yeah, Speed. Under Siege, oh...
One of the, like, 3 good Seagal movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Rush Hour. Okay, cool.
I never got into Rush Hour as much as I think other people did. It just never clicked with me.
I liked the first one, but the gimmick wore off after the sequels. But the first one was good.
Yeah.
V's got a good pick here. Face Off, baby.
Face Off, yeah. John Woo's Face Off. Probably. I don't know if that one's. Is that John Woo's best American film?
I would say it is. I in my opinion, I think it is. But I would say a close second of his best American films is what Miss Schuyler's bringing up. Hard Target.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lance Henriksen hunting down JCVD. Oh man.
Yep.
And I've started to have like this.
It's like JCVD with a perfect Kentucky waterfall, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was a gorgeous mullet, a beautiful mullet.
Yeah,
but no, I have been reacquainting myself with the film catalog of Jean-Claude Van Damme, just from like a martial arts film standpoint, because like for a while there I got like all snooty with it, like it's like, oh, that that schlock. Like, I mean, Van Damme really actually did a lot for Hong Kong martial arts too. He brought in a lot of those directors to work on his movies. Like his choreography was rock solid and still is. But yeah, there was so much riding on John Woo's first American film, and it had Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. And I hope someday we will get this like fabled director's cut out of it. And if we do, mark my words, it will be 20 minutes longer than it has to be, a lot more philosophical than it has to be, and there will be no more action scenes. We saw all the action in the main movie. It will just be philosophy. But because that's John Woo director's cuts. That's what they are.
Can we also get more doves, like slow-mo doves?
Oh yeah. Oh god, that Mission Impossible too. To see like Tom Cruise just like do that like side stare in the doves, and oh man, like, that was yeah.
V says definitely John Woo's best film was Face Off. Yeah. I wouldn't know if his best U.S. film. Yes, I agree. And the Double Impact.
Yes. One of the 2 times that Van Damme played himself as twins. Yeah.
And since we're talking Van Damme films, definitely one of my picks for one of my all-time favorite films of the 90s. Got to talk about Time Cop.
Yes. Oh man, Time Cop will always be awesome because like it's taking 2 words, then jamming them together and making a title that makes me go, I want to see that. Time Cop, like RoboCop, boom. Time Cop, boom. Where's Space Cop? I don't know. Hollywood, get to making it.
This Space Cop needs to happen. Even though we've had Space Cop movies, we haven't had a movie called Space Cop.
Yeah, just called Space Cop. Yeah,
just called it. But yeah, Ron Silver played the villain in this. Ron Silver is perfect in this movie.
Yeah.
I was telling you about that. Like, he's just great villain. You want to see bad things happen to him. We lost him too soon as well. I think he had cancer, I believe, so he died kind of early. But yeah, again, a great actor. What was that Jamie Lee Curtis movie, Blue Steel, that he's in?
Oh
He's
yeah.
too. It's like, he's very good in that one too.
Yeah. It's at some point like that. Just the 90s action movies were a certain visual style. It's like I hate to say that it's comfortable, but it's the most appealing to me. you
Mm-hmm.
know, as opposed to like, you know, this hyperactive, like mega kinetic, like Liam Neeson kind of modern Taken style,
Yeah.
you know, jump cutting things. Like the 90s action movies weren't afraid to linger on things. And I think like and I'm actually going to throw this one out as an honorable mention because it should have been made in the 90s. John
Mm.
Cena's 12 Rounds,
Oh, there you
that
go.
movie, directed by Rennie Harlin, right? Came out in the mid 2000s, right? Like John Cena's second flick, right? If that movie would have came out in 1994, and there's no reason that it couldn't have,
Right.
absolutely no reason that it couldn't have. That plot would have been fine if you just would have found the right cast for it. But
Yep.
that would have been one of those movies that we're talking about in this list,
Yeah.
you know, because it would have been that strong of a 90s action movie. Yes, it was
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little past its time, but they don't make them like that no more. But, you know.
Absolutely. But yeah, you're right. You had, good directors, you had good cinematographers were on there. And basically, for a little bit of time, The Matrix changed a lot of stuff when it came out. And then you had the Jason Bourne films come out, and that kind of changed your cinematography yet again. And now, thankfully, John Wick came around and kind of gave a little more cinematography with the fast cut action. So you kind of had a little bit of both. But I would like to see, camera pull back a little bit. We
Yeah.
don't we don't need to be all up in the business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the John Wick movies because it's like they're just all like, I feel like they like each one has a different kind of martial arts focus, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate them all for that because they're able to just are really good showcases for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
particular style as well. And it's like the first one, not so much even a martial arts movie, but just like the choreography in and of itself, you know, for being like a low budget movie because that's a low ass budget movie,
Yeah. It
you
is. Yeah.
know.
The
But
first one
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah, but then they just keep, and it's like, yeah, those are movies that keep the martial arts films alive.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
like
agree.
it feels like martial arts movies are always on life support, but then like you get like Tony Oz stuff in like the mid 2000s, and you know, it's like the stuff that came out in the 90s. Like you're just never going to have some of that again because yeah, it's like none of us have ever like we didn't even talk about stuff like Super Cop.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
yeah, Jackie Chan's Super Cop, the third in the Police Story series. But
Mm-hmm.
like, if that movie would have gotten the big marketing push, like a Terminator 2, like it would have been as big as a action film as Terminator 2. It
100%.
really would have been.
And that's the thing too, is like the original Police Story, like while it has some big stunts in it, it's very much a procedural cop movie. Like
Mhm.
it's pretty low key, and then they keep ramping them up. So by the time you get to Super Cop, Police Story 3, I mean he's jumping Bruce, he's doing all the crazy stuff, and that was the
Yeah.
one they redubbed it Super Cop and released that in the United States. But they also put that movie out like what 10 years after it'd been released in the film or so yeah.
10 years after and about 15 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's like, and they all, and they, I hate it whenever they did that to the movies, but it's like they always tried to shorten them like on the plot wise, so there'd be like exposition scenes that got cut out, and
Yeah.
just they would keep as much action. So people would get upset like there's missing action sequences that we never got. No, we
No.
always got the action sequences. What we lost on a lot of these was story, you know, because
Plot.
yeah, story and plot. Because and it's like you go in like those public domain like Shaw Brothers prints. You know, like you go to compare some of them to what Arrow's got out now on discs and realize how many reels are missing. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like some of these are actually really good movies. You
I
know, it's
know.
like once you actually watch the whole damn thing, I digress. I'm sorry. We're yeah,
No,
90s action films.
you're actually
Yeah.
and V's also said
The
The Rock.
Rock.
Yes, that's a
Ah,
great.
yes.
Yeah, probably one of the few Michael Bay films I actually like. So yeah.
Let V, do you subscribe to the stealth James Bond sequel theory
Oh
idea to The
yes,
Rock?
I absolutely do.
I do too. I love it. I don't know if it was intended or not, but that's how it is in my head because it works perfectly. It
Yep.
works perfectly. Yeah, and if you're not familiar with that, basically it means that it's a James Bond movie where Sean Connery still plays James Bond, but
Mm-hmm.
he's been disavowed by the British government. And if you watch that thinking that and just watch the movie, it becomes a whole different experience and it's amazing.
Yeah, basically, like they were done with him and they locked him away as opposed to letting him living his life in retirement, sort of thing like that. So, yeah. I love that theory, and I heard that. Of course, obviously, that may not have been it, but nonetheless, it's still fun here. Martin's in the house here, the collector and the co-pilot, as you've changed your code name there. There they are, the Lost Boys back in town.
Lost Boys.
Good.
What was last week?
Well, 2 weeks ago we were talking about music, so.
Yeah.
Oh, and V says know about one insane theory. Yeah, I know, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun here. Brad asked, "What about Zombie Cop?" Technically, there is a Zombie Cop that came out in 1990. Yeah, so there is a Zombie Cop. Yeah,
there was a man. Okay, so I don't know if it's 90s, but it was, or if it was 80s, but it was on the precipice. But Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
A man has 48 hours to solve his own murder because he comes back as a zombie and he and his partner try and solve the crime. Yeah. Brian picked that up at Best Buy one day, and just from the title and the name, or from the actors, and I gave him so much crap for spending $30 on that DVD. And then it turned out to be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a gem. It's all over the place. It's got a weird third act. Yeah. Dead Heat. Yeah. Yes. Good stuff here. So, Martin says he changed his logo, playing with new idea for his content, but it's this random German stalker. Yes, good to see you, random German stalker.
What up, random German stalker?
Okay. A couple other picks. I've got as favorites here. One that's definitely more of your straight kind of crime action film here, but a 90s classic as far as I'm concerned. 1995's Heat. Yes, Michael Mann, a beautiful film. We're supposed to be getting a sort of sequel to this, where I can't remember who's in it, but somebody's basically playing Val Kilmer's kid. That was in the movie.
That's what I heard, and I know that there's a novel called Heat 2, but I don't know if it's I don't know if that, and it's been written by Michael Mann, but I don't know if that's going to be the plot of the film or not.
Yeah.
But there are several like pseudo sequels to Heat out right now already, even before the movie. Yeah. The 4K of Heat is actually out there too. It's gorgeous and it's super cheap too. It's like $14.
Nice. Yeah. I think I've just got just regular Blu-ray, but I'm
that's a good transfer too. That's a fantastic.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with what I got with that one. So love the score in this one as well. Just of course, I'm a sucker for Michael Mann movies. The cinematography in this, and what was it? Of course, the big street scene where the gunfire, the gunfight standoff is happening with police. So there was who was it? I can't remember who was telling that. Somebody was telling the story. Basically, it was a soldier or veteran that was telling the story, pointing out the fact that Val Kilmer, the way he's unloading and loading his rifle and in quick succession going right back to it, they're like, that's how you do it. That's how you load and unload rifle. And it was like he got the seal of approval from an operator who actually knows what they're doing.
I kid you not. I have seen my boss say the exact same thing about Val Kilmer in Heat. That he got signed because my boss was, a former Army guy, a retired Army guy, it's like seen combat and all, the whole night, and like was super impressed with Val Kilmer, his loading and unloading technique, talking about the accuracy of it. So that's two people that would know what they're talking about. The vouch for the accuracy of that. And it's like I love movies that pay attention to those kind of details. Yeah, and actors that go to that kind of trouble to learn them.
Yeah, and Kilmer's definitely one of the kind of actors who would do that sort of thing, and Michael Mann's definitely the kind of director who would pay that much attention to detail. He's all about detail. And Martin saying that Kilmer's gone too soon, as mentioned. Oliver Stone's The Doors, one of his favorite films. Yep, great performance in that one. And then definitely, you as long as you've known me, you've definitely seen this movie poster that was in multiple places of residence of mine for numerous years. 1996's From Dusk Till Dawn.
If I could have stolen anything from you, if I could have stolen, like, And George knows this. George has given me unfettered access to his multiple residences, right? Like without being present. Like I could have taken anything that I wanted,
Anything.
But if I would have stolen anything, it would have been this poster off of his wall because it was the theatrical one. It was the theatrical one, right? The transparent one. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
one
So
sheet,
like old school movie posters when they put them on the marquee. I don't know if they still do them like this or not, but it would almost be like a plastic sheet with a photo negative on the other side. Like you could put it in backwards and it would be the reverse of the image.
Yeah.
But like collectors pay a lot for those kind of posters because it's like they were actually hung theatrically and like ones that were like, those kind are like really sought after. And like before that, like movie posters weren't really rolled, they were folded. So it's like if you got them with the creases, like that's a big deal. But like, no, George had one of the ones that like people wanted, right? And it was like in a nice frame and everything. And I still hate you for that, having that. Oh, I fucking want that so bad.
Well, and if it's any consolation, it didn't make the move to E-Town. I had a bunch of posters I put together, and I thought Dusk Till Dawn was in there. And one time I went to check, it's like, I haven't seen some of those old posters in a while. So I dug them out. It's not in there. So I don't know what happened, but it is gone.
Oh yeah, because that was I mean, it was like I could dig how your wife wouldn't necessarily want the From Dusk Till Dawn poster hanging in your living room. I wouldn't disagree with. I would hang it up there, but you've seen what I hang in my living room.
I mean, she didn't have a problem with it. Tarantino's kind of creeping in the background, but Clooney front and center. That's peak '96 Clooney there. So I'm just saying.
That is true. Like, I mean, Clooney's pure sex right there.
He really is.
He is.
Well, I've got my Death Proof and Planet Terror signed posters here in the living room, and she had no problem with those. She said you could put them in the living room. I'm like, okay.
Man, this movie. I'm sorry. I'm going to kind of talk or steal your topic for a second.
Yeah.
But I got the opportunity during COVID when everything was like all online. Like I would get together with some friends and we'd stream movies to each other. And so like my pick one night was From Dusk Till Dawn, and like these people had never heard anything about it, right? And so it's like, and they knew who George Clooney was and they knew who Quentin Tarantino was, but they knew it was a movie from when they were really young, right? Because these people are like 30, right? And so we're watching it, and then it's like they get like they're kind of like not into it during the whole like family kidnap scene.
Sure.
Because it's just kind of awkward and weird. And one of them was even about to leave because Tarantino was being all like
very
pedo and creepy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, what happens like midway with no telegraphing to prior to anything?
They get to the bar and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, all hell breaks loose. Vampires, man. Monsters, vampires.
Yeah.
And the whole second half of the movie is completely different from the first half of the movie. And so like, and just to hear them go, what in the hell are we watching? What, holy crap. Like it blew their minds, right?
I know.
It just blew their mind. And I loved it. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Yes.
And see, for me, it's like, this is coming out 2 years after Pulp Fiction. And Robert Rodriguez, of course, started getting his notoriety first with El Mariachi, then with kind of the American remake with Desperado in '95. So already you got two superstar young directors there, and then they team up for this movie. Rodriguez directs, Tarantino writes, and co-stars in the movie. And it's like, they made a movie for me. And of course, it's like, I was still working in movie theaters at the time this came out. And so there were so many people that were confused by it. I'm like, did you not see the trailer? Because all is revealed in the trailer. Because it starts out, it's we're crime guys on the run. We got some kidnapping things. Then we kidnap another family, and there's other crime things going on. And all of a sudden we turn into a siege film against vampires.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. But, and of course, Cheech Marin playing 3 roles in the movie.
3 parts. Oh, man. At one point in time, I memorized the monologue.
Ah, yes.
That I can only refer to as such because we cannot speak it on the show.
Yeah. We drop F-bombs here sometimes, but we can't say the P word, I guess. So
I drop them on accident because I forget which show I'm on. I'm not on my.
Well, that's okay. Show. I don't care.
And I'm doing it in like
no one's paying us for this shit.
I know, but still, I don't want to be. I don't. You know how bad it can get, right? But yeah.
I don't care. And Ryan Permission in the house. Hey,
what up, Ryan?
Ryan's saying 90's is pure. I'm sorry. Speed is pure 90's action. Yes, that's a great film.
Speed is yeah.
You know what the funny thing about Speed, though? I have seen this multiple times, but for me, it loses everything on the second viewing. Because all the action, all the adrenaline, all the are they going to make it, all that kind of stuff like that, the tension, it's all in that first viewing. It's a perfect viewing, and then you see it any other time after that, you already know what's going to happen. It loses all the tension, I think.
Yeah. No, I
Steve,
Steve, what up, crab legs? Oh, thank you again for dinner tonight, sir. Oh, yeah. I got back about 15 minutes before because my buddy Steve there fed me too good. We had them big 4th of July hamburgers.
Yeah, so of course, Steve, one of the fellow horsemen who will be involved in our game tomorrow night. So can't wait for that. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we were just talking about Heat a little bit ago. Yeah, that's an awesome movie. Oh, and Skylar wants to know, what was the start of the tribal tattoo craze? I don't know. I never.
I feel like I want to blame Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, but maybe it happened before Vin Diesel. But you're probably right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely that was like douchebag armor right there. If you have a tribal tattoo on, so
yeah.
Because it's kind of like the people who get like Japanese, people get like Japanese kanji on them that aren't fluent in Japanese, and most likely like, I want this to say strength and honor, and it says like, lunch special, something,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Dave Barry had a whole article about that. I love yeah, because like he went with his family to Japan to Japan, and saw a bunch of them that were like weirdly translated and. Yeah, it was funny. I'm not Dave Barry, so
Yeah, no. And Steve talking about Dustin Johnson. It's great about the movie. He didn't realize it's gonna be a vampire flick. Yeah, so I think it's a lot of people surprised by that. It's like I guess the trailer didn't play as well, but yeah. So and then Skylar also saying Blade, definitely a great 90s.
Oh, dude, Blade was people don't give Blade enough credit, man.
Blade's the reason we have the MCU at this point, pretty much.
Blade saved the MCU basically. Blade proved that comic book movies could be taken seriously because we did that episode about stealth comic book movies, right? That was definitely one of them.
Definitely
it was
douchebag armor on point. All right, so we definitely got some picks for you, sir. Of course, I got a couple of honorable mentions we'll fill out later on here, but we got to get to your picks here. So, yes, one of your big picks here.
Yeah, I called it an audible on this one because this is like almost like the 90s action movie. This is up there with Seven Samurai as far as action movies are concerned, I think. If Seven Samurai is the blueprint for the action movie in general, then this is the refinement of that, of like the pinnacle of what it can be as a film. And it really works, and it's it's a great story, like time travel wise, like it kind of gets you into it. It's very bleak, like the cyberpunk thing, like very involved in that. I do kind of hate a little bit that it takes the idea that that humanity basically at the end of in the first Terminator movie, humanity had won, right? Like barely, but they had won, right? Skynet was done. And so like that was their thing. They had to send Kyle Reese back to make sure that the Terminator didn't screw that up. Right. So it's like that was the whole thing, was to make sure they still had their victory. This was to change the future, which that kind of sat weird with me. But then it was like, actually, no, you know what? It was, if you look at it more as a film, it's more about the emotional journey of the robot and the kid, Edward Furlong, but like still packaged together in that like high octane action set piece kind of way, where it's like everything was practical effects. Like technically this is also an independent film.
Yes, it is. Because what we were talking about Carol Co, about a month or so ago, and this was literally the film I mean, like, it was the house that Rambo built, but then when they released Terminator 2, it was like, oh my God, it's the most money we've ever seen.
This is another one, though, that I kind of feel the marketing betrayed a little bit, but I also understand why, because like right before this came out, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the hottest dude on earth. Like he was like, if Terminator 2 was not a success, which I don't know how it couldn't have been, but if it wasn't, like, Schwarzenegger would still be like, we'd still be talking about him, but we wouldn't be talking about like up in the stratosphere with him. But
exactly.
Yeah, so it's like trying to market the shit out of him. I get that. But the whole idea that the first act of the movie plays where you don't know which Terminator's the good one or the bad one.
Yeah.
I wish that I could have gotten the experience to know that beforehand.
Exactly.
Like to watch, but I think the marketing kind of fucked up by just telling you that Schwarzenegger was the good one this time. Did I just drop an F-bomb again? I'm sorry.
I don't care. I don't think you did. I can't.
Oh, well, yeah. Anyway, yeah. But no, just not being able to see it like that. But then I also remember too, the first time I saw it, I didn't even think about that at all. I was just excited to see Arnold Schwarzenegger as the good Terminator.
But dude, looking back on it, though, you're 100% right. The marketing did kill the trailer, killed the surprise. But I mean, more recently with Captain America: Brave New World, the trailer killed both surprises in that movie. So who the bad guy is and what happens to General Ross, basically becoming Red Hulk. So
oh yeah, it did, didn't it? Dang.
Yeah, it killed both those. So it's like, but we got we got to show the Red Hulk. It's like, no, actually, you didn't. That could have been a complete surprise.
Man, yeah. Just while we're on the subject of like that with trailers, the Project Hail Mary trailer, like that. Have you watched that yet?
I have not. No.
Okay. If you can avoid it at all costs, yes, because it will show you everything. It will tell you the whole movie. Yeah, it's like I went into the book totally blind, and it was one of the best books I've ever read. Right? The movie trailer though spoils all of it.
Oh.
And it's such a bummer because it's one of those movies where it's like, man, no, it's like if you just let people experience that, like, it would be something where it's like it could be beautiful and artistic and transformative. But
I think you've talked about the book before and said how good it was. So that is unfortunate, but again, it's stupid marketing. Sometimes you can tell who's paying attention and who's not.
Yeah.
So what are your other picks aside from Terminator?
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah. I got to preaching.
But you had a good point, though.
Yes.
Like I said, of course, I got a couple more to talk about once we get through yours here. Oh yeah, here we go.
This one, and sorry at the weird skew because I like that
poster though.
Yeah, I like the poster, so that's why I wanted to keep it. But
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Number 3 with a Vengeance specifically. So I dig this one because it's McTiernan coming back because Die Hard 2 was a hit. Right, like anything, like it wasn't as well received as the original, obviously, but make no mistake, it still did well. It was still a hit. It made Rennie Harlan a director. Like it gave, like we're talking about him right now because of how successful it was. So John McTiernan coming back had a little bit more to prove, and with this Die Hard movie, they marketed it more as almost as a car movie. And it was more of a race around Manhattan movie, but not necessarily like it wasn't about the cars. It was just about the race. Mm-hmm. And you actually had Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis together, which was it the first time that they had teamed up? Was that this?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. This came out the same year as Pulp Fiction, but I think this was their first time together.
Okay.
Because they were in the same scene briefly, but they really didn't have any screen time in Pulp Fiction. So this was really
that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so them together, just their chemistry and like the buddy cop kind of idea, even though that one of them wasn't a cop. It just made like it. And what's funny is like I'd watched the movie hundreds of times, right, on video, right? It was one of the movies I grew up on. And then when the DVD box set comes out, I'm all super excited, so I get it and I'm listening to it. I've like gone through the first movies with the commentaries and all that crap. And then I finally get to Die Hard with a Vengeance, and I'm listening to the writer talk about, like, you remember at the end of it when they're like, when Hans's brother Simon is about to get away with it and everything, and then here come Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson in the helicopter with the cops, right? And so the writer's like, I couldn't really think of a reason for Zeus to be in the helicopter because he's a civilian, right? So it's like, he really shouldn't be here, but well, anyway, we just did it, and no one ever questioned it. And I'm like, you know what? Son of a bitch, I never questioned it until this moment. Like, never thought about it. Yes, he's absolutely. It's not like, come on, you were tortured for so long. Hop in, see this to the end.
You've been through this stuff too. Well, and it may have been a situation where maybe it may have been like, oh, he can't be here. It's like, no, McLean may have said, come on, now he's coming along here. So
right, yeah. But it was just like, he specifically mentioned it was like, he shouldn't be there. It was like, damn it, you're right. That kind of breaks it a little bit. But no, otherwise, it's actually a really good movie.
It's my favorite sequel for Die Hard because I every now and then I'll watch two, and I don't go to the sequels post Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, really?
No, I've seen them both once. I didn't like either one of them. I would rather not revisit either.
Okay, fair enough. See, I actually enjoyed the fourth one. I like, not necessarily the PG-13 cut, but the R-rated cut. Where they would actually swear a little bit, and he actually did the line properly. And plus, dude, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I guess I got a thing for Timothy Olyphant. Like, I just,
that's right. He's in the movie. He's
the bad guy. Yeah, but I enjoyed the fourth.
Olyphant's cool, dude.
Yeah. Number 5 though. Number 5 was a big pile of horse dookie.
Yeah.
I don't know who decided that they were going to try and make Jai Courtney a thing. Like, he was fine in Spartacus, and like, I'm sorry they killed Captain Boomerang. Like, I can't help that, Jai Courtney. But you're not going to be like a diehard franchiser. No. And here's something that's going to blow your mind too. I'll stop sharing the screen real quick and get my other one queued up while I'm talking. But so you remember the show Reacher, right? That everybody's talking about. So that dude. Yeah, that was almost Jai Courtney.
No,
that was almost Jai Courtney.
Wow, I don't think it would have worked.
No.
No. I can't remember Alan's last name, but that dude's a mountain. And the thing I love is, like, he really wants to play Batman.
Dude, that would be so cool. It's like, I actually dig that show. I'm not gonna like. I guess
I'm very fond of it. So, and here you go, your third and final pick here, and I wholeheartedly agree with you on this film. Leon the Professional.
The Professional. Yeah, this is the poster for The Professional, which is the U.S. cut, but you can find Leon the Professional, which is the Luc Besson director's cut.
Yeah,
and fair warning, there is like some questionable stuff going on. Like, if you are uncomfortable with like a young Natalie Portman trying to make advances on an older man, probably very, like, in today's lens, might be looked at very in a different way than it was made at the time. Maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But anyway, that kind of stuff is in there. I'm not defending it, not saying, I do think it is kind of part of the plot of the film.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. But
you've got so much mixed emotion in it, because she's kind of like, do I look at him as kind of like a father-like figure, or is it sort of like a romantic thing? And he's totally in a guardian, father-daughter sort of mode there. But definitely kind of some awkwardness in there. But Gary Oldman's performance in this.
Dude, Gary Oldman is like, Jean Reno is actually, like, his performance in here is really, like, I don't necessarily know if I agree with your take, but it's that one for Jean Reno, but I think that's irrelevant just for how he plays the part, like, as far as like his acting range, I think that he's an amazing actor. Gary Oldman just chews scenery. Like, think of like a more serious version of the dude he played in The Fifth Element. Yeah. And by more serious, I mean not that much. It wasn't that different. Yeah.
Yeah, Martin's a fan of the film. Yeah, yeah, absolute
Yes.
genius.
Yes.
Steve also, yeah, one of his favorite movies ever.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, but oh yeah, definitely a great one. Just this is definitely my favorite of Luc Besson's films because you get just such great action scenes, a lot of good drama, and of course a lot of like conflicted stuff there, of course, between Natalie Portman and Jean Reno's character,
Mhm.
and then the fact that basically, yeah, Gary Oldman's supposed to be the good guy, and he's literally the worst person in the film. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's the cop, and he's like, this is the guy that's going to serve and protect us. Like you're literally doing speed outside of like a home raid. It's like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but a couple of movies, I kind of had to pick a couple obscure ones here from the 90s, but definitely favorites of mine. Of course, we talked a lot about John Woo, and one of my favorites is we got to bring up 1992's Hard Boiled, baby.
Dude, yeah. Actually, you talk about I said something that was the Seven Samurai of 90s action movies.
Yeah.
That movie could also apply, or that label could also be applied to this movie. It really could. This was Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's
No,
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk over your movie.
No, you're right. It's all over the place. There's the action choreography is tremendous. There's some great drama scenes. There's some ridiculous comedy. Basically, especially we're talking about the nursery scene. We're kind of basically him holding the infant there is alluding to that. Yeah, I mean it's such an entertaining movie. But yeah, please, what you were going to say?
It's just. So if you're aware of like the John Woo films that he did with Chow Yun-fat, it was a series. It was a Better Tomorrow, Better Tomorrow 2, Hard Boiled, or The Killer, Hard Boiled. And so like that streak that they had, it was like each film starting with a Better Tomorrow through The Killer, eventually culminated with Hard Boiled. Like everything that they had learned, they put together in this movie, basically to make like their magnum opus. This would be the best movie that either one of them would. I would say this would be the best movie that either one of them would ever make thus far. And not to slight them at all, but they peaked here.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the Seven Samurai of Hong Kong action films. The set pieces are incredible. There's plenty of explosions. There's tons of action. The movie it keeps going something fierce.
Yeah, it does not stop.
Yeah.
There's no boring spots in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. The opening scene is the iconic tea house shootout scene. That if anybody has ever talked to you about Hard Boiled, or if you've seen a clip of it, they've shown you that thing of Chow Yun-fat sliding down the stairs with the guns. And yeah, for the longest time, this thing was also hard as hell to find on disc.
Yeah, you can still get the Dragon Dynasty DVD. That's still available. I don't think it's available. I'm not sure it's on Blu-ray yet.
It had a weird limbo period where the only version you could get was like a Chinese Blu-ray that had this cover. There was a dude that was selling a really good bootleg version of it, but then he kind of scammed a bunch of people and went nowhere. But as of right now, I believe within the next month or so, Shout Factory is going to release digital versions of 4K scans of Hard Boiled and a couple of other John Woo movies, and then eventually release them on disc too. And I know I've talked shit about Shout before, and I still kind of stand by a lot of that. But they released screenshots of the Jet Li box set that they were going to release, and it looked really, really nice. I might check it out if it looks that good. At least to get a legit copy of Hard Boiled, because I have the old Criterion DVD, which is just like the non-anamorphic widescreen one.
Okay.
And I have like 2 bootleg versions that I downloaded from the internet. But like, yeah, the Dragon Dynasty one. I believe the Blu-ray for Dragon Dynasty is actually really kind of hard to get now.
Oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but the regular DVD should still be able to get for maybe $10-15.
Yeah, I've got DVDs for this and The Killer. That's the only way I've got these right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mr. Aiden is here, one of my customers over at Clyburn
What
Comics. Good to
up?
see you there. Oh, Kung Pao. Oh, that's what
Oh,
I've seen Kung Pao forever, man. That's a funny one.
man, one of my favorite jokes in Kung Pao was we trained him wrong as a joke.
Trained him wrong as a joke.
Yeah. The one
Oh,
dude where it was like he would come in and he was like he was just trying to soften people's knuckles with his face and like shit like that. Yeah. Like
yeah.
he was just he was just getting his ass kicked by everybody. Kung Pao was amazing.
It wasn't the squirrel nunchucks or something like that, or gopher
Oh
nunchucks.
yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
It's
I can
some
see
kind
it.
of
Yeah.
small rodent, but they get turned into nunchucks. But yeah.
Yeah. That movie has not been put on Blu-ray.
No, it's not. I think
Yeah.
you maybe will find it streaming somewhere, but yeah, it's not on Blu-ray anywhere.
It's I know it's one of the ones that I think is in some kind of licensing limbo.
Same with
But
Cabin Boy. Cabin Boy, it falls into the same thing. Like Cabin Boy's
yeah.
not on Blu-ray anywhere, which that's a freaking crime because Cabin Boy's one of the greatest comedies of the '90s.
You and
So
damn
weird.
Cabin Boy.
No, I love me some weird comedies. And speaking of weird movies here, my last one I got to talk about here. This was a truly unique film. Could have only been done in the '90s. The director who put this out absolutely peaked with this movie because his next offering, we will talk about that in just a moment. I give you Six String Samurai from 1998. So this is kind of an indie Mad Max film where you've got a guy who basically looks kind of like Buddy Holly going through the desert trying to get to some kind of shelter, permanent residence, whatever else, and keeps coming across all these different bands of roving people, but all making kind of weird references. Of course, the main bad guys are the Red Elvises, which are kind of this like communist gang that all has an Elvis affinity. But yeah, it's wild, wacky, all over the place. Great visuals, great action in it. But yeah, definitely a weird one here. But directed by let's see, Lance Mungia was the name of the guy. And of course, none of the stars that are in the film really went on to do much of anything else. So it really kind of has maintained its indie cred and whatever else. But to share screen with you here, Lance Mungia's follow-up film, The Crow, Wicked Prayer. This is the infamous Crow sequel that stars Edward Furlong that pretty much single-handedly killed the franchise for a number of years.
It starred Edward Furlong, Tara Reid, and David Boreanaz. Yeah, I also I am one of 4 people that purchased that from Walmart for full price of $29.99.
Oh my god!
On the DVD format. I watched it. I watched Edward Furlong try to be the Crow, and it was obviously a direct-to-video sequel. There was never any hope to this film becoming any kind of theatrical release whatsoever.
No.
Danny Trejo was in it.
Danny Trejo's been in a lot of movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Trejo was in Danzig's movies.
Danny Trejo's been in a lot of movies. Yeah.
This might have been just as bad as Danzig's Westerns.
Yeah, that's right, folks. If you aren't aware, Glenn Danzig, basically lead singer for the Misfits, and of course for his own band Danzig, and of course Salmon, whatever else. Yeah, Glenn's directed 2 movies.
I'm sorry, George. Hold on. You pronounced it correctly. However, Glenn Danzig is an idiot. It's pronounced Sam Hain if you're talking about the band.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
no, you correctly pronounced the name of the Wiccan holiday. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I needed to make
you're 100% right. You're 100% right, though. Yes, yeah. So Sam Hain. Yes, yeah. So Glenn directed 2 movies. One of them is this vampire western movie where you've seen bad movies before, right? And basically where it's like maybe the acting's kind of bad, or the plot's bad, or the effects are bad, or maybe even like the production itself is bad. But have you ever watched a movie where all of those things happen simultaneously? Oh, and also the sound guy was off that day, and so you could barely hear anything anybody's saying through the entire movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like Danzig has like a little music in the opening that's like him singing, him caterwauling for a minute. Which Moxley might be trying to imitate right now if you can still hear him. But yeah, so and then there's this like obscenely long shot of Devon Sawa leading a topless woman on a horse, along, and then like you find out he's a vampire and all this stuff, and like they find like it's like this weird like vampire brothel deal. But yeah, no, there's no sound to it whatsoever. Who's the guy that was Warlock? The Warlock.
Oh, Julian Sands.
Julian Sands. Yeah, it's the last movie before he passed away.
Yeah,
and
this maybe it killed him. Like
I
did this movie and I decided to go wander off in the woods and die.
Yeah, and it would have him like he'd try and be like the reflective old vampire and like use his long fingers and shit, and then like the shot would just go way too long, like like he's just trying to like think of stuff to do, like what would an immortal vampire lord do? He'd touch this magic crystal. And then it would just linger on uncomfortably like that for minutes at a time before it would go to the next scene that you could not hear again, like George said.
Could not hear.
We should have known, however, though, this was prefaced by his previous film Verotica, which one reviewer was quoted as saying that they didn't know that anyone could make erotic horror boring, but Danzig did. Because it was weird shit like eyeballs on a woman's nipples. Yeah. And it was Danzig. Yeah.
Stick to records, buddy. Stick to records.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Martin says he can get us a bootleg on Sunday for 10 pesos. He just doesn't know where to send stuff. Let's see here. Steve. Yes, Danzig has done two. Two movies.
Yes, Danzig has done. You can find them on your box that is super, Steve.
Oh, there you go.
Find them both. Yeah.
Still, it's a good movie compared to. Dude, I'd rather watch Turkish Star Wars, man.
Turkish Star Wars. At least in Turkish Star Wars, they tried.
Yeah. Turkey. They gave a shit on Turkish Star Wars.
Danzig tried, but like. So
Bradley to answer your question. The Veronica's first film was based on
Veronica. Yeah, his first film, which I also believe another reviewer wrote an article saying that they were expecting this to become the horror movie version of The Room, the Tommy Wiseau film. Yeah, and we're actually surprised that it would be, because that makes sense, because I had read years prior that Danzig had been test screening a movie, and sometimes the audience laughed at parts of it, right? And so Danzig didn't understand why they would laugh and would ask them, because it's like apparently some of the dialogue was just awful. They thought that it was a parody that they were watching, but no, this was just Danzig trying to be edgy and cool, Yeah.
And speaking of Tommy Wiseau, I don't know what happened to it, but we were supposed to get a new film of his last year called Big Shark. And it's basically like LA, like I saw there was a brief trailer where like downtown LA is getting flooded, and the flood brings a big shark, and the big shark's eating people.
When I was talking earlier about a movie title, like two movie titles together. Yeah, that one just kind of don't work. Yeah.
It does fall a little flat. It basically, if you would have put like Big Ass Shark, now there's a movie.
Yes, I would watch Big Ass Shark.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, but just
that's
Big
catchy.
Shark, Big Ass Shark. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, Snakes on a Plane. I'm watching that movie. Big Ass Shark. I'm watching that movie. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Couldn't give a rat's ass.
Nope. Didn't care for the one in the 90s. Don't care about the remake.
Nope.
Nope. Steve saying so he wanted to be Rob Zombie.
Rob
Yes.
Zombie. Oh God.
And frankly, Rob Zombie made like 1.5 good movies. I love Devil's Rejects.
I'll give him Devil's Rejects, and I'm gonna be the dude. I enjoyed his Halloween remake. I enjoyed it.
There were parts of it I liked, but he over-explained shit.
He did, but I still, yeah. And I will give him the first 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes of Halloween 2.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. After that, that's what I'll give him.
I will give him credit for about half to even 3/4 of Lords of Salem. Because Lords of Salem is basically if you replace Mia Farrow and Rosemary's Baby and put in Sherry Moon Zombie, looks very much like a crackhead, and you put her in the movie, it's the same movie. So it's basically it's him trying to remake Rosemary's Baby. But I'll give him credit for that one. But I love Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
No, and see, Steve's with me on Devil's Rejects, so there you go. See,
man, dude, nothing beat seeing Devil's Rejects in a theater, and then that scene at the end where they're in the car, and then he should have left the monsters alone. Oh man, dude, I know people that are so angry at him about the monsters.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, I heard about it.
Oh man, but no, in a theater in Kentucky, at the Devil's Rejects, and but everybody was cool before, not a peep out of anybody the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And then they're driving, and then the FBI's, of course, chasing them and everything, and then Freebird kicks in, and then the whole theater just loses their goddamn minds. And yes, that was you would have thought that Skinner just showed up themselves to play Freebird in this theater.
Yep.
It was one of a kind theatrical experience, I think.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
For me, it's like Freebird's been used a lot in films and whatever else. But for me, that's the perfect usage of the movie, because especially it's like they use the whole thing, so you get the slow build up when they're basically approaching, and then they finally make the decision they're gonna just they're gonna charge the police line, and they of course get gunned down all the hell. But yeah, it's like perfect usage of that song there. So
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Bradley's got a great comment here. We should do an episode about Roger Corman movies.
We should. He's right.
Yeah. That's a great idea, dude. Because of course, that would be a huge episode, because if you want to talk about the movies that Roger actually directed, or we talk about the movies that he just produced, it's like, good God. I mean, I was just talking about Rock and Roll High School at the top of the show, watching that last night. That's a Roger Corman production.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got, let's see, Dick Miller's in there. Mary Warno's in there. I can't remember the bald guy with the beard. He always played the prissy, intellectual type, whatever else. He's in there because he's one of the teachers that basically turns to Rip Randall's side, because he's the music teacher that loves rock and roll now.
Yeah.
Actually, Dick Miller's in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it made me think, I might have to go here in a minute because it's really starting to kick off. And
you're cool. Cool. Yeah, we're getting close to wrap up here.
Yeah. No, I watched that Fantastic Forum documentary, Doomed.
Oh yeah.
I watched that again not too long ago. About that was a Roger Corman. The only movie Roger Corman never released.
Yep.
Was that one, and we all know Roger Corman ain't about not releasing movies. If he can make money off of it, he wanted to release it. That's a good documentary. Yeah.
Roger made his money, though. That's the thing. That movie was never released, but Roger made his money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a heartbreaking story, but there was also real shady shit that went down with that whole situation.
Because that movie, if you give that movie a shot, it's not really half bad.
That's, for me, with the exception of whenever Robert Downey Jr. shows up as Dr. Doom when or an upcoming Avengers film, still the best performance of Dr. Doom on film.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yep. Because the actor got it. I can't remember the actor's name. He's a character actor, been in a bunch of stuff, especially a lot of other Corman flicks. But yes, he got it when it comes to the character and the role, how to present himself, how to carry himself, how to deliver his dialogue.
Yeah.
100%. So, well, I guess that kind of wraps us up because unless you had any other movies to talk about here, but I think we've got everybody's picks in here.
Yeah, no, I think I ain't got nothing else.
Oh, I know. But yeah, I knew this was going to be a fun one here. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up a little early here because puppies and kitties are getting bombarded here by the rocket's red glare going on outside. So, yeah, we're gonna hunker down here and
yeah, I'm gonna have to be snuggle guard, so.
Yeah, I know. Our poor fur babies. Yes, I think everybody, all mine are currently either under couches or beds right now. So, but next week, Seth gets to pick the topic here. So, yeah. So you get to pick topic next week. So, of course, we've talked about many other topics that possible ones there, so definitely some fun things to get through here. And of course, we have Bradley's topic of Roger Corman flicks. So there's all kinds of sort of things that we're talking about. So, Martin is sad to see us go, but don't worry, sir. We will be back next week.
Look at my poor dog.
Yeah, and Aiden, good to see you, sir. Yeah,
thank you.
Priorities there. Steve, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. See you tomorrow, brother.
Yes, V, good
thank
to
you,
see
V.
you, brother. Yeah, you're very welcome, Martin. Good to see you guys. Yeah, good show tonight, guys. So thank you all very much. And of course, like and share the Fanatic Forum with your friends, with your family, even with people you don't even know. Just go up to people on the street and say, "Hey, have you heard Fanatic Forum?" Yeah. Anyway, don't really accost people on behalf of the show. People, okay, yeah.
No hands. You
that is bad.
Yell it at them very loudly, but
verbally assault people. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, we're going to wrap up, of course, with a message from our friends at Comic Books for Kids. But you all have yourselves a wonderful and safe Independence Day, and we will see you all next week on the Fanatic Forum TTFN.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Truth. And overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.